This HAN Network video is brought to you by Coastal Orthopedics.
Get a touch! Put it up. Seniors, bro.
Team, 13 wins, undefeated season, second consecutive title. How does it feel?
It feels nothing but awesome. I mean, how could it not? Yeah, 2 years in a row, which you guys know, and remain undefeated, and then, of course, win 2 state titles. Life doesn't get any better, at least football-wise.
Your defense did a great job of harassing Fowler all day, really keeping the pressure on, never letting him get comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah, you know what? Our defense has come up big all year long. In the last 2 years, okay, for that matter. I think in last year's playoffs, state round, we gave up 15 or 20 points, and same thing this year.
Tim had a huge game for you too, offense and defense for you today.
Tim Hergert was a man possessed. Yeah, he was unbelievable. So yeah, he's done that all year long.
Rob, is there any different level of satisfaction with what you endured personally this year, or is it kind of bigger picture than that?
Bigger picture than that. You know, it's all about the kids, and they've earned this. They've worked hard for this, and again, not easy to win back-to-back and go undefeated 2 years in a row. You know, I know how tough football is in this state.
You guys, you scored 28 points, but you had some issues on offense. I mean, where your defense really held you in and got you out of.
Yeah, you know what? We dropped the ball, and we had a few penalties, untimely penalties. So, no question, we shot ourselves in the foot. And the last interception, I take partial blame for. I mean, I took a shot on first down. We were running, and I told my quarterback, be smart, which means don't throw the ball down the middle, and he threw it down the middle. I mean, fortunately, the game was fairly out of hand there, but, that I wouldn't have taken that risk had it been a one-score game.
Defensively, Rob, how did you scheme with your D-backs today?
You know what? We played 3 or 4 different coverages, and what we did is we showed one and then played another.
Okay.
And other than that, honestly, it wasn't that fancy. It was just those boys being disciplined, and of course our D-line doing what they've done the last 2 years.
Well, I was about to say, with that front four, you really don't have to scheme a whole lot.
Right.
Did the van chick leave?
In spirit only. Okay, so we returned 3 from last year's group. So and we added Vanchek in last year's. We've had a nice 2-year run with some great defensive linemen.
How satisfying is this? Just giving everything and to do this all over again with all the guys you lost and everything that happened.
Very satisfying. Because as you know, Sean, some people thought we'd fall off a little bit. We lost Timmy Graham, you lost Grant, you lost Minikis, and Hudson Hamill, and so on and so. There was no drop off. There's no drop off at all. And you know what? These young men weren't going to let it drop off, and that was their attitude all year long.
How much do you think the Turkey Bowl win propelled you guys? It's such a big win. How much do you think it propelled you guys?
I think it taught our boys some resilience, because here you are ahead by 24. All of a sudden, a great team, makes a great comeback, and yet you're able to stiffen up and win the game in overtime. So I think it definitely helped, their psyche as far as resilience is concerned.
You ever going to have a front line like that again?
Sure, next year. Who knows? I mean, our strength coach does a great job, and, obviously you can't replace an Andrew Stuber. 38 years, I've never had an Andrew Stuber. So we'll see. You know what? I'm not going to worry about that until next week.
What is it about Fay that makes him so difficult? Is it the speed?
Well, you know what? He's got, this is what the college coaches like. He's got extremely long, reach.
Okay.
So that he's able to stay away from those offensive linemen, and then he's quick. So now you get that separation, we call it, and quickness, combined, you get Quinn Fay.
So like a power forward trying to get to the rebound.
Right.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, he did a nice job tonight. He was all over the place.
I really don't know how to ask this about. Going out, again with number 1 with this group. Not too shabby?
No, not too shabby at all. And I was saying before that people thought there'd be a little bit of a drop-off, not a lot, but And you could tell this group refused to accept that. They weren't having any of that, and they worked very hard in the off season, and then obviously during the season, to show the state that, hey, we're still here.
How is it that you guys have gotten this thing rolling? What is it? I mean, what does it take to get a program going as well as you guys have, as New Canaan has? What's the special formula?
Well,
what's in the brew?
Again, it always starts with great kids.
Yeah.
You can't do this without great athletes.
Right.
All right, great staff. I've had a consistent, loyal staff that comes back year after year. We don't argue. We'll debate sometimes, but we're all on the same page. And then our off-season program is awesome, and I'm sure New Canaan and all those other successful schools are the same way. And our kids have bought in 110%. They know that they'll have Monday off. They're going to start lifting Wednesday, and in fact, they'll bug me to lift Monday. That's just who they are.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Congratulations. Very nice job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. An alumni who was a Navy SEAL, Dominic Muno, came in and talked to the team 2 years ago, slammed this down on the desk and said, this usually goes to fallen comrades, but as an ex-Navy SEAL and an ex-captain of Darien High School football, I'm giving it to your head coach, and he's going to wear it with pride, so I certainly do.
Absolutely. Nice job. Take care.
Thank you.
So, Rob, any last words for Darien?
Again, I couldn't be prouder of this group of young men. Here last year we go 12-0. We're number one in the state. It's never happened before. And at the banquet we're saying, how do you top this? And the answer is you don't. You just try to keep the thing rolling. Well, we did top it. They went 13-0, best team in school history, record-wise, and maintain that number one, in the state standing.
And then through this game, what did you see from them throughout?
We knew that they could sling the ball all over the place, and they've had receivers that were second to none.
Right.
We thought we would pressure Fowler, like you saw. No one stopped our front four, yet this year, and we were pretty confident that we could keep pressure on them, which I thought was the key to the game.
Right.
A little bit of a slow start for you guys today. Did nerves have anything to do with that, or was Ridgefield's defense just executing, or maybe a little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
They're high school kids.
Yeah.
And it's a state championship, and you're always going to have a little bit of butterflies, slash nerves. And we shot ourselves in the foot quite a bit. We dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And we turned the ball over a couple of times, early on, and penalties. You take those three things, and you get off schedule on offense, and you're punting.
Yeah. Right. Definitely.
That being said, you were able to get a couple big plays, the long screen, things like that. That kind of opened up the offense again and made yourselves more comfortable.
No question. And then, of course, Nick Green's pick six.
That helps.
Yeah.
That kind of was the nail in the coffin. So, but you know what? Tim Hergert's been doing it all year long. Finley Collins been doing it all year long. Nick Green's been doing it all year long. Our D-line's been doing it all year long. So nothing happened today that hasn't happened all year long.
Yeah.
And that we didn't expect, from these young men. So, but they are 17 years old.
Right.
So, you never know what you're going to get. But
were they one of the better defenses you think you've gone against this season? Were they up there in terms of just being able to do some things to kill some drives?
They were. Let me tell you, they were well coached.
Yeah.
All right. They showed a lot of different blitzes, that we hadn't seen. So they were. They did a nice job, and they're athletes.
Yeah.
They're not in this double L final for nothing.
Right.
So, no question that they played well too.
Defensively, it was a lot of bend but don't break. They get some drives on you. They got in the red zone 3 or 4 times, but you guys picked them off in the end zone. You picked them off in the 12. You haven't done that a ton this year, but the fact that you guys were able to come out against an offense like that and really stand tall at the goal line, how good was that?
No question. And you know what? That said, their offense scared me. Boy, all those weapons, and you're watching, them score 44 points against Shelton, and that, damn empty formation, with all the 5 great whiteouts. But again, like you said, our kids, would bend and not break. And once again, Timmy Hergert had a huge day.
I mean, it seems like every week you could talk about somebody new, and today was Timmy's coming out party in the biggest moment. How good is that for him? I mean,
it was awesome. It was awesome. You know what? Timmy is a very humble, somewhat quiet kid. You know, so.
I just found out.
I fall to the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Real quiet.
He doesn't talk. You know, but that's Timmy Herget. So, and he's got a younger brother, you know, Tyler, who's going to be a junior, who's just as good.